We can come and chit-chat about this.
I mean, I love chiptunes, man.
I love
they're in many ways to me the most avant-garde and punk rock form of synthesizer-ing.
Man, where my damn...
Where my focus go?
Where my focus go, baby? Where did it go? Where's my video capture? Why aren't any of you dropping down? Green screen? What the fuck does that even mean?
Why lean straps? Why?
How did this happen? What does that even do? Wow! Well, I didn't have this level of technical difficulty.
Yeah, it happens. They're trying to keep the streets from getting out, Jacob.
They're trying to keep everybody from knowing. Hey, what? How is it not in any of these? How is that even possible? I don't understand.
Try and shut it down and bring it back?
Yeah, well, the only way to do it is through the thing. I don't... Oh, man. Wow, this layout is so untenable. Here we go. Sorry, this designer put it in a weird file, but
there we go.
We're live.
Fine.
For realsies this time.
We are just crazy people.
Yeah.
Not actually technologically competent.
No. Like people who ask me about the Discord all the time, I'm like, I have no clue. But we set up a tech help channel in the Discord, and that's nice. It's nice to have around. But we're talking about the Process Church of the Final Judgment today.
And Charles Manson.
Where did the Process Church start? We talked a bit in the previous program about its Scientology roots.
It officially incorporates in 1963.
Okay. You think you might know which attorney did it?
I think it's Ronald Hadley Stark. I have seen online documentation related to it, but I can't produce that because my copies were lost. So, I don't expect anybody to accept that. But for what we're talking about, I'd ask you to operate under that premise for now.
Yeah. It's Ronald Hadley Stark. Word. Okay. Tell us about the founding members of the Process Church.
You've got the guy on the left down here, who might be the guy on the right. That was Robert Moore. He was born into a House of Lords situation, basically. He joins the cavalry, is deployed to India, comes back, and meets this woman named Marianne McLean, who you might know is the same woman who founded Best Friends Animal Shelter.
Oh my. Okay.
Yeah, of Dogtown, USA fame.
Dogtown. That's weird. That's a weird connection.
Biggest animal no-kill shelter organization in the United States.
That's weird. That she moved to that. Only because of the dog connection. Anyway, moving on.
Well, dogs were a big thing in the process church.
Yeah.
Like, they were all about having, like, German Shepherds or, I can't remember, Malinois, the big looking Shepherd type dogs that the cops like to use.
Yes.
And Dobermans and stuff like that. You know,
all
the big powerful dogs of the day.
Okay.
You know.
Dogs used in fascistic regimes coincidentally.
So they started in England, like as an organization. They incorporated in '63 in the U.S., but they'd already been around, right?
Yeah.
And by that I mean they'd been in England for a while. They'd been cultivating, like Scientology, as many links with artists as they could. There's a couple Parliament records. You know, people will talk about not Parliament, but Funkadelic. We'll talk about at that point that George Clinton was involved in Satanism. Well, he was involved with the Process Church, and some of their literature ends up on the liner notes of America Eats Its Young, and I want to say Maggot Brain.
Yes, definitely those two records have like process involvement. George Clinton has said in interviews, like, I hooked up with these people with this thing called the process.
Yeah.
And it's obviously it's
now if you're looking for your MK Ultra connection there, and we could spend a whole show on that.
Yeah.
Right? But it's that the rest of the band, like Bootsy and Company, were all acid heads who had been turned on to acid at one of the university programs where they were doing LSD research that was involved in Operation MK Ultra.
Oh shit.
So one thing we know about him is the government had files on him.
Okay, definitely.
Like, for certain.
The government.
They were aware of them for sure. And when you look at like how the FBI and the Federal Bureau of Narcotics and stuff worked during that era, I mean, they were as invasive as the Stasi. They had a file on everybody, basically.
Okay, they were collecting as much data as they could on everybody.
On everybody.
An intelligence agency in the purest form. Like,
well, especially in that era, because they were worried about Marxist black power elements.
Okay.
You know, so all black people and black cultural organizations, it seems to me, were viewed by the FBI as a potential threat.
Okay. Gotcha. So
the types of people who are constantly traveling, crossing state lines, etc., that's the type of people that's definitely going to be on their radar at that point.
This is them learning how to co-opt that particular group's, occult sensibilities. You do it through the artists, it seems like. They learned that after World War II.
One could say they've always done it through the artists all throughout history.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah, artists are the ones who've always made things like holy sculptures.
It's true. Yeah, on both sides.
Yeah, or holy songs.
Yeah,
like you have to have the people who can communicate through art to resonate with people on a primal level.
Oh, damn. Yeah, if you're trying to spread that message, the best way to proselytize is through art.
Yeah. Well, I would say historically it has been. Now, you've got other organizations. Like, Scientology definitely uses art, right?
Yeah.
But then you look at, like, say, Leiden LaRouche's cult, who started in the 70s as Marxists and then became ultra right-wingers, right? And they're very much like if a cult was an intelligence agency.
Gotcha.
Not unlike, say, the Finders.
Oh, gotcha. They're running a cult like the CIA or something.
Absolutely. They would have people living like 5 or 6 to an apartment, and their job is to write reports on things.
Wild. So, back to the Process Church. Their movements, their origins, right? It's two Scientologists, 2 prolific auditors.
Yeah, 2 very prolific. They were considered very much up and comers before they became suppressed persons or suppressive persons.
Yeah. They had a hell of an SP document too that I think is still out there and available.
No, I've often wondered if basically it's like, we're going to declare you suppressive persons as a form of plausible deniability.
Oh.
You got me? Like, you go do your thing. That way we can say that not only are we not connected with you, we hate you. You're horrible for the world.
Damn. Being able to control isolated groups like that, what a powerful strategy and ideology. technology.
Absolutely. And you get them all hooked always on, well, they've got access to secret knowledge.
Yeah.
Like, in many ways, this is sort of the cult of Alex Jones, right?
Yeah.
Look at all this secret knowledge I have access to.
Yeah.
Much of which actually pretty well checks out. Like, a lot of it's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But much of it is actually like, wow, this is crazy, and they admit to it. Wild.
Yeah, well, Alex Jones is one of those aggregates of information where he's just reading headlines.
Yeah, True Crime Wifey, you did just hear the Finders. Oh, man.
Yes.
Have I got a wild interview, not me personally, but I found a wild interview with Marion Petty, who talks about how he was the entire time running the Finders as a private intelligence outfit starting in the 1930s.
Damn. In the 30s?
In the 30s.
Like, right, but
he was the chauffeur to some general. I'll have to look it up before I get on and start trying to talk about it. But the overview is he was a chauffeur to a general, and the general basically said, you should start a private intelligence outfit. So he started off saying, oh, well, I keep open house. So he'd keep a house that he always had a bedroom or two free in, and literally anyone who he met could come stay there.
Whoa.
But quite often that means people within the military intelligence complex who, didn't want to be on a hotel register might come stay there. And that means he's also networking the whole time.
Yeah, no, I've known people with the open couch policy, but never somebody with a pocket that deep or a Rolodex that fat.
Oh, True Crime Life, he says, did you hear about the secret recording computer on the payphone at FSU at the same time? Now, I've heard a different... I haven't heard of that and I heard a different story, or I heard a different take on it, which was that they pulled off from using a modem at a payphone and left their computer and it was found.
Oh.
In the fucking phone booth, right? Now, the weird thing is they were using TRS-80 Model 4s. You got me? These were you could buy them at any Radio Shack, which is why I think they were using them. I know a lot about computers from the 80s and 70s. It's one of my deep dive relaxation hobbies. But you could, like, unlike many other platforms, literally anywhere with a Radio Shack, you could go to get a TRS-80.
Oh.
Right? Which was basically anywhere in the nation.
Yeah.
And they were, for their time, a high-end business computer with everything built in. Anybody who knows anything about the Finders knows that they were heavily involved with computer programming from about 1980 forward, and were involved in training CIA operatives at one point.
Fucking word.
So no, they're
on any kind of mobile training situation. Like they're popping up and they're teaching people how to do shit.
And that's all of just one little side of the Finders. Because I'm with a lot of people. I think that they were running something like MK Ultra training camps too.
Whoa!
And taking people down to Mexico. In fact, after they killed the French Connection and started bringing in the drugs through Mexico, I bet you'll find that a whole lot of that MK Ultra stuff is from Mexico down to the tip of Chile.
Whoa, really?
Yeah. Look, nothing makes a better fence than bad neighbors.
There is a strange occult issue tied with their gang issue.
Oh, and absolutely. And it reads like the Order of Nine Angles. Like it's not, but it reads like it. Like
sure
you could,
does.
if you map it out, it maps out like it.
Yeah. See what you said? Damn. Yeah, what we got, True Crime Wifey? I read all the papers of the Finders in 2019 when they were released. I knew the state attorney and...
The doctor that conducted the exam on the children. The state attorney died in 16. Doctor died in Feb 2020. And I bet that's why you've seen so much Finders stuff since the attorney died suddenly blast YouTube, whereas 4 years ago there was nothing.
Not a damn thing. That's I was wondering, now we have like a straight up documentary like titled like, The Finders, the cult with CIA ties.
Yeah.
It's like, what? What are you talking about? Hey, fatty.
Well, keep in mind, too, I've said for a long time the CIA stands for Cutout Intelligence Organization. Their cover's been blown, and they're so known so many times that anytime anybody has a fuck-up, they just blame it on the CIA.
It's an Old West town.
Yeah.
It's like an old movie set town. Like, it's just made up. It's just
fake. Not that the CIA is not doing stuff, but that a big part of their job is psychological operations, including how domestically we perceive things. The CIA is not allowed to operate in the U.S. Hey, what's up, Pride of the Thicket?
What up, Justin? I think I see him in the Discord over here. Oh yeah, we're muted.
Oh, do we have this down?
We have it down and we're muted, but we can open it up. If you're down to open it up.
Yeah, that's fine.
We'll open this sucker up. We got the Discord
Yeah,
up.
we're only loosely doing on the Finders today. It's more intelligence cults in general, but with a specific not on the Finders, but on the process.
Yeah.
But with a specific overview of the process, because I think that in many ways, the process is where I've got a copy of O'Neill's book, Manson. I've been reading through it. It is insane. Now, for those of you who don't know, I have a very, very loose association with Charles Manson. So if you dig this up later, don't be surprised. You can find a documentary online called Citizen Shane about my friend Shane Ballard. Shane was an odd person. He was my best friend while he was alive. From the time he was a kid, he collected serial killer autographs. He wrote Hinckley once and had the Secret Service show up. The Happy Face Killer lied to our local newscaster. The FBI showed up and took his blood because the Happy Face Killer had said that he'd been teaching Shane to be a serial killer through the mail. Yeah, but
fucking with the people that write him.
The Manson connection is he was he was into serial killers and he was into art. And he got a hold of the record of test pressing slate of the record All the Way Alive that was recorded in September 11, 68, 69. Can't remember. I think 68. And he cleans it up, remasters it, and he writes Manson and says, I know people have put this out before. I'm not going to put this out unless you tell me that it's okay. And so month goes by, he gets a phone call one day. It's Charles Manson. Manson's talks to him for as long as he can and tells him, you do whatever you want with that. About a couple weeks later, a dude knocks on Shane's door, who's a representative from the family, and says, you do whatever you want with that as soon as you put 2 payments of $500 into this commissary account.
Damn.
And then he puts the record out. Well, also then, about once a month, he starts getting a call from Charles Manson. And one of these calls is recorded on this documentary, Citizen Shane, that's about my friend Shane running for sheriff of our town.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's my loose... I was there once when there was a call, and I listened, but I didn't talk to him or anything. I kept my mouth shut.
Yeah. One of those was like, I don't want him to feel impeded on.
Yeah, I didn't want him to feel impeded on. I sort of was like, I don't want this guy to be aware of me because he just sent a dude right to Shane's house. I mean, yeah, he had a return address on the envelope, but still.
Crazy. Welcome, Ramek.
But that's my only personal association with the case. Well, with Charles Manson.
So back to the process, though.
Right.
We can kind of I want to talk about specifically what we know about the rituals they would do, because a lot of people who are going to be finding this video are going to...
I think Polanski knew True Crime Wifey, yes. 100%. I think he knew, and I think he was involved.
Yeah, I think... Yes. Oh, man. I think the fucking... We'll get to this. Hold on. Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about rituals?
Rituals. What do we know about what the process did?
It depends on
Scientology.
By the time that they're operating on their own and calling themselves the process, they have some things that a person who knows about Scientology could say was obviously extrapolated from those techniques, but they're their own thing.
Yeah.
They're operating, we'll say by around 1971, they've got at least 5 large properties all throughout the U.S. New York, Chicago, I'm not sure where in California, but I want to say L.A., okay. New Orleans. Oh, where's the other one? New York, Chicago, L.A., New Orleans. And I want to say they had one in Florida.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Right, so they've got a circle.
Places where coincidentally Scientology pops up later.
Yeah.
With massive stations.
You were talking about in terms of rituals, it's like once they're in there, it gets hard to speak to specific rituals because it depends on the subgroup that you're in.
Got you.
Also, like a lot of the documents were destroyed, so you've only got what people who claim to have been involved say.
Yeah.
I will say that in general, I believe a lot more of the people who make claims than not at this point. And when I started off, I was the opposite of that.
Yeah. I believe that stuff after kind of the Son of Sam thing, which again is probably going to be something that'll pull people toward this topic, you know.
Yeah, no. If you've watched Sons of Sam, they go into the process a little bit.
Yeah.
And definitely tie it to it, and I think that that's appropriate, because I would say that in the general scheme of thing, I think that the process evolved into a backbone network of a ton of subcults that were autonomous.
Yeah.
And then once they officially totally like stopped being the process in '74, everybody was autonomous. I've read and talked to some folks who specifically talk about like how it was like gang wars amongst these processing groups. There was a group, and this is another connection sort of to me, in the area that I grew up. There was a group from over in Alabama, colloquially called the Children. I believe they were probably a cult called the Children of Light that was based out of an occult center in Huntsville, Alabama.
Oh, shit.
That has ties back to the Children of Light in San Francisco.
Early process offshoots seem to all have like a children or family vibe
to
their naming convention.
A lot of, well, it depends. I think that was a relatively common thing because, the process itself even eventually became, I think, like I want to say one of their name changes involved family in it.
Okay.
I'd have to have the list out in front of me because they go through like 3 or 4 name changes before they become a dog shelter.
That's so wild. That's so wild. They full on. We'll have to get a list of their name changes because that's fucking crazy to me. And then, but it's the same incorporation chain that basically goes to best friends dogs.
Yeah. Well, the same people in a series of corporations transferring property from one to another.
Yeah.
And selling off properties
with a new LLC. Gotcha.
And dude, I've heard about these compounds that they would run being like patrolled by dudes with submachine guns and guard dogs, and everything's razor wire fenced.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. So it's the sort of place with a mansion you could expect that there would be a Polanski incident.
Mari Terry talked about specifically German Shepherds being sacrificed by members of the process. German
Shepherds were like their go-to dogs. And they had a whole bunch of the inversion that was popular at the time.
Yeah.
Like a lot of, what did he call it? The guy who did The Shining, can't think of his name, Kubrick. Yeah. Kubrick talked about mirroring and stuff. There was a lot of almost like that, right? So if you were a part of the Satanist faction, then you didn't worship God, you worshipped dog.
Whoa.
Yeah, and they would treat their dogs as better than the converts, and they'd have to like make sure the dogs were happy.
That's wild.
Yeah, no, it was
bestial. Like you make someone a beast. Like you treat them like a beast of bird.
Yeah, they have to be treated as lower than a dog so they can ascend to higher than that.
That's.
And there may still be another dog higher up in the chain.
Yeah, it's like that kind of thelemic shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. So that's
and this ties back. There's a little known occult group that was called the Circe Order of Dog Blood or Kirky Order of Dog Blood that was operated out of Toledo. That it was based on this little occult shop, and they believed the woman running it, who just up and disappeared one day, was Marianne McLean.
Oh shit.
And they found an astounding amount, and you'll find in a lot of these that they find a ton of fucking dog corpses in the late 60s and early 70s.
Okay, just in case we both needs to have it. But I got some, just in case I keep track of some questions I might have, and also your answers, because again, I've been taking notes on Merc Radio, and it's been a really interesting thing to sort through my crazy later.
But so they end up being what amounts to a giant nonprofit corporation that puts out these astoundingly slick magazines. You can find PDFs of them online. Manson ends up contributing to one of them, the Death issue. But I mean, like, these things cost about $200 if you can find one minimum for any of the process-related media online, if you can find it. And they put out an astounding amount. And it was so slick, dude. It was the highest quality. It looked like Cosmo.
Yeah. They put out, like, nice... Well, and I know they were artists that were hip and in style enough to be on Parliament records.
Absolutely. And I'm sure they were making a lot of their back end on both printing and on graphic design.
Yeah.
Right? Because they got people who are going to work for free.
Yeah.
you know. But so these magazines acted as recruitment tools. They gave them out, they sold them, etc. And quite often, like, you can find a picture of Mary Tyler Moore standing next to Robert de Grimston holding up one of the Process magazines in front of her. And she's all like, you know? Like, they were intentionally networking. They were pretty well known at the time.
They were putting their message out there. That was their form of holy proselytizing, right? These
and they would walk around, man. They'd have, like, early in, they'd have, like, a goat of Mendes, which is like a sort of a satanic goat type symbol.
Yeah.
Around their neck, and these big robes, and their symbol looks like a weird inverted swastika.
Yeah.
Their early one looks very much like a swastika. It's 4 horns sort of put together. And then the later one is 4 P's put together in the middle. So it's like an offset square with 4 lines coming off. So they're rolling around with like a goat's head and a not swastika armband with a pair of German shepherds, looking like a black magic Nazi wizard.
Yeah.
You know, like selling magazines and talking about, would you like to open your mind?
Good.
They were well known on Ashbury, and they were well known in the Mayfair scene in England. They called them the Mindbenders of Mayfair.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah, if you look that up, you'll be able to find. If you look up Mindbenders of Mayfair, you'll be able to find the story of them functionally being kicked out of England.
Oh, fuck. Okay, so I want to talk about their exodus. So they started really ingratiating themselves into the subculture, kind of starting in the UK, and much like the British invasion, that shit dripped over to America, but didn't drip over in an easy way. It took some time. They actually had some bumps in the road, right?
Yeah, they had some. Like I said, they moved from starting off as compulsions analysis. They became the Process, but hadn't incorporated yet.
Yeah, and they're running out of the Scientology branches in like London.
They're not running out of Scientology branches. Actually, they have access to a fucking castle.
Oh, well, I mean that's after they left Scientology.
Yeah, after
I just mean like
I think they were trying to recruit a lot of the same people. But like they would have a coffee shop called Satan's Cavern, and they did it at a couple places, as I understand it. The one is generally talked about, and yeah, like a lot of like fucking the Beatles showed up there. The Beatles manager showed up there and confessed to Timothy Wiley, who was one of the Processians, about his homosexuality and about how he hadn't have faith in his own work and stuff like that.
Whoa, through modified auditing, basically.
Basically through modified auditing employed as a conversation at a coffee shop table.
Whoa.
Yeah, which is, you know, if a person who understands anything about therapy and conversational hypnosis understands how these things work.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you study Milton Erickson, the creator, basically, of what we call conversational hypnosis, anybody who ever said they went to therapy with him described it as, I had a conversation with him and came out with my life changed.
Oh, okay.
He believed in what was called brief therapy. Like, his goal wasn't even so much to find your underlying issue, right? Yeah. Like, and make you confront whatever trauma you had. It was to totally, through a conversation, reconfigure how you felt about yourself so you wouldn't be worried about that anymore. And what I think is you can find this video of the mentalist Darren Brown hypnotizing Simon Pegg, like from Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah.
He hypnotizes him into thinking he wanted a BMX bike.
Yeah.
But a month prior, he'd written in an envelope that he wanted a leather jacket, sealed it, put it in his wallet. When he comes out of there, he's confused as hell. And once again, this is TV hypnosis. I know it could all be a play. I just personally understand how these things work.
Well, and that freaks the shit out of a lot of people.
Dude, he like, Peg walks out obviously confused about why he would ever want anything like a leather jacket.
Oh.
And I think this is the same sort of technique that Milton Erickson used on people.
Okay.
Going back to something prior, I think the same technique had been figured out and utilized in a series of video games to make people remember them as something called Polybius.
Oh, gotcha. They found a way to digitize that shit later.
Yeah, it's like a block, a memory block.
Yeah.
So that you go down, you go on a red herring hunt when the game might have been just a hacked version of fucking Tempest or Galaxian.
Gotcha.
But you don't remember that, so nobody looks into alternate weird ROMs that might have gotten dumped because they're too busy looking for Polybius.
Yo, hey. Their apocalyptic event.
Oh, yeah, well, for like the upcoming, like the one in the future or the one they went through?
The one they went through.
The one they went through was when they first left England.
Bounce out.
Down to Xtul, Mexico, XTUL. They're there for a few weeks trying to get the property in order. And then a hurricane comes in, decimates it all. They've got to basically hang out under trees for 2 days in the midst of the hurricane.
Yeah.
DeGrimston says, this was all a test. Now it's time for us to go spread our faith.
Now, did they have any doomsaying or end times ideology at play before that?
Oh, 100%. The entirety of their end times philosophy was that basically you have Jehovah, Satan, and Lucifer. Right?
Yeah, okay. So four forces.
There's 4 forces because there's also Christ. Okay. But Christ, the unifier, will bring together all 3 of these forces in the end times to judge the world.
Okay.
And it's both Satan and Lucifer, who are codified as 2 different people, basically, two different entities, will work in tandem to help Jehovah cleanse the world. Now, for them, they tended to split you off into just 3 groups, oddly enough. You have to think about like the classic, what they call Trinitarian shield, where the Holy Spirit is God, but is not the rest of the other ones, right? Yes. And Christ is in the center of these 3 things.
Gotcha.
So they split you into one of the 3 outside groups. You were either a Jehovan, which is like the meanest church lady you've ever met.
Yeah.
They're very much super centered on retribution, basically. Okay. You've got the Satanists, which are like berserker sociopaths.
Okay.
And then you've got the Luciferians, which are people who would love to live at the Playboy Mansion and do all the drugs. Like basically hedonists. So you've got hedonists as a recruiting tool.
Yeah.
And then a split form of 2 forms of sadists.
Yeah.
One that is overwhelmed by rules, and another type that rejects all rules.
Yeah.
They found a way to use the hedonists to recruit in the other 2.
Yeah. Okay, so no rules. The Satanists are wait.
The Satanists are like hedonists. Think of them as berserker biker gangs.
Yeah.
Right? The Luciferians are more like, it's a businessman that really sucks at getting laid. And he really wants to get into the getting laid and drugs club.
Gotcha.
Right? So they're also facilitators. And then the Jehovans are more like I said, they're like a mean church lady, or people who are astoundingly good at logistics.
Gotcha.
Also. You know? Okay. So like the most judgmental forms of the military.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like church lady. Yeah.
Right? So you've got an attack squad, a recruit, psyop, and funding squad, and then a command and control squad.
Gotcha. Whoa. Okay, so they followed everything we've talked about when it comes
and that makes up not just a cult. That makes up an independent, self-funding, self-recruiting, stay-behind army. Yeah, of fanatics that'll do whatever you say, because they don't identify with the area they're in. So if you have to destroy the village to save it,
that's what you got to do.
Then you've got the people willing to do that on the home turf.
Damn.
And this is my whole concept of like why these guys were all put together as a form of stay-behind army primarily.
Yeah.
In the Cold War, like a Gladio unit that could be used for any other form of espionage and counterintelligence activity. Like they've got properties that are guarded by barbed wire, machine guns, and dogs. Do you need to hide somebody? Do you need to take somebody? Do you need to take somebody there for rendition? Are you looking for a torture squad? All of these things can happen in this locale that's nominally a cult learning center.
Yeah. Damn. That's okay. That's so what's Jesus' role in all this?
Oh, like the whole Christ? Because at the end times, Christ will unite all these. So you have to work together in the spirit of Christ.
Only one person gets put into that group.
So
the Messianic figure.
Well, what I was going to say is, so you, as a Satanist, have to rub shoulders with the Jehovans, who are a sadist like you, but rules obsessed instead of anti-rules, instead of you being an anarchist, basically.
Yeah.
But you've got a reason to work together. Now, what does this sound like? Yakiism?
Yeah, just like Yakiism.
Yeah, because in a sense they've got both types of fascists and hardcore communists.
Yeah.
In the Jehovans.
Yeah.
They've got the people who just want to go berserk in those types of of societies in the Satanists, and then they've got the Luciferians running the property and business front end, all because they're basically getting their dicks wet or whatever and getting all the drugs that they want and have a sense of power. So they've wrapped them up as the capitalists.
By the time, it hits America, you have even groups that take the problematic daughters of these people. Like the family, right? Like, you even have like a demographic, like this the problematic. Like there's a cult for every demographic.
Oh yeah, well no, the daughters were heavily in that. It's like as I understand it, not so much in the direct process, but in the split offs, like Maury Terry talking about the 4P.
Yes.
That there's no reason that women couldn't be involved other than the personal beliefs of the folks involved in that particular cell of the cult.
Yeah, it all
right. So if they're open-minded leftists in general, who also were into Satanism and then fell down this rabbit hole, they might be like, there's no reason that a woman can't be a killer for us. Have you ever heard of fucking Soviet snipers?
Yeah.
Yeah. In the same way that there might be a group that are like, nah, no girls. Could be.
Yeah.
But there was definitely room for them in there was room for everyone and everything if a person could be subverted.
Yeah, well, by problematic daughters, I'm playing specifically on the Manson family.
Oh, yeah.
I'm playing on, there's literally, by a certain period in American history, a cult for every demographic, whether you're problematic, whether you're right, whether you're left.
Well, this is where we get into this clip here. And Charles Manson here on the right, and Robert de Grimston being the same person. Up the volume?
Yeah.
What you're about to see is a guy named Marshall McLuhan. He was a Canadian media theorist. If you've ever seen Videodrome, he's the guy Dr. Brian Oblivion is directly based on.
He denied Warren Grimston while identifying with Warren de Grimston.
This is from a channel that I'm a big fan of.
Oh, yeah.
And I hope you guys can find it.
It is a fake name
Super
that
recognizer, baby.
have adopted. Was this common knowledge back then?
But he's got the clip, so shout out Super.
And
Damn straight, dude.
Here's the thing. Many people find it easy to believe that one or both of these cults...
What's happening here? Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I jumped back too far. My bad. Let me get over here.
Be tuned in.
One thing I know, and I think other people know, is that when the politician goes on TV, he has to have charisma, or he's dead. And some people, charisma means looking like a lot of other people, like Cronkite.
Cronkite, who looks just like Walt Disney.
If you reassure people by resembling a lot of other people they know and approve of, you have charisma. But if you don't have a resemblance to a lot of other people who are socially acceptable, then you had better stay out of politics. Now, or you are just automatically eased out.
Oh. Well, that doesn't just hold true for politics. Like, when you see a guy that looks like Charles Manson now, you think he looks like Charles Manson.
That is true.
He's become an archetype.
Ooh.
But before Charles Manson, there's no archetype of Manson. There's a bunch of dudes who look like Manson.
Yeah.
Or maybe one guy with a little bit of stage makeup here and there playing a couple dudes.
So they say what? Jesus Freak back in the day?
Yeah.
Jesus Freak or hippie?
And this guy, it's not like Manson's not directly connected. And Manson at one point says he's not de Grimston, but he was Robert Moore. Well, Moore spends most of his time in an ivory castle. Wouldn't be that hard to recast him.
That is fucking... Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's True Crime Rifle real quick. That was from Super Recognizer on YouTube. Super Recognizer, one word, right?
Yeah, I believe it's, one word. His logo looks like, I think, a double-headed eagle.
Yeah.
Can't speak.
Yeah. There's he's great. If you guys go there and watch that video and you found him through us, tell him in the comments that Merc Radio loves him. And that you send your regards.
Please,
anyway,
please.
And moving forward, so you are what we were talking about here is fucking Robert de Grimston, who's founder of the Process Church.
Founder of the Process Church, and who may be Charles Manson, founder of the family, or may have been and then got recast when he was too busy being in jail.
Got you. Okay.
Now,
Because that's the main hole in that anybody's going to bring up is, well, why would some dude choose to be incarcerated?
Now, here's a thing that we know in terms of mental illness. We make jokes about it. It's that people have delusions that they're someone else.
Yes.
Like, the go-to is that people have delusions they're Jesus. But that one's slippery because nominally Jesus is returning. Yes. Historically, the go-to was people think they're Napoleon.
Yes.
Now, this aside, the underlying mechanism to be exploited is people can be made to believe, or people can believe that they are not themselves and are someone else. I suspect that hypnotizing people into thinking they legitimately were the person that they were supposed to be doubles of, and then giving them mild plastic surgery because they already look so much like someone else was something that was regularly done at one point.
It makes me think about the end of Once Upon a Time in Mexico, where homeboy gets face swapped.
Oh shit. Breaking, Andrew Cuomo's been charged with a misdemeanor sex crime.
Whoa!
Good. He's not just Italian.
Look, it's the nipple piercings are suspicious.
Dude, yeah, check it. Look up Cuomo's nipple piercings.
We pulled him up on the stream in the past, and boy, are they popping.
Mm-hmm.
He's up to something. You're not a politician and have those. If you have those and are like, I don't know, on this show, that's different. That's different.
Hey, appreciate it, Jameson, because I know that I sound batshit crazy. Like, I just want to be clear. I understand that this sort of sounds batshit crazy. I'm just saying, think about it.
Look,
just consider it. Run it through your mind. I'm not saying I'm right. Dude, I'm not even saying I've got evidence.
Yeah.
Well, I want to be clear. I'm not Alex Jones and y'all, but consider it.
What became of Robert de Grimston according to the official record?
Robert de Grimston just suddenly disappeared and then was rediscovered by, what's his name? The guy who ran Feral House Publishing, about a year before dude suddenly died of a heart attack at 56. He looked him up in the phone book, had a wonderful phone call with him. You can find the interview online, and then a year later, the guy who called for the interview just suddenly dies. Feral House has... if anybody here is into true crime or the occult and you don't know about Feral House Press, go hop on that wiki.
Mm-hmm. That's wild as hell. So, basically, mysterious end. He might still be alive? No? Dead, according to the record.
I heard he passed 2 years after that. Okay. But once again, the only confirmation we had that he was alive was that one person said he had a phone call with him after calling a number in the phone book listed as Robert Moore.
And that dude died pretty quick.
Yeah.
Once he spread that info. So.
Yeah, and he was also the most recent book on the process was put out by him shortly before he died.
Yeah.
So I suspect he got heart attack gunned.
Oh, really?
Yeah, people die from drug use and it affecting their heart early in. I'm just saying it was super convenient, the timing.
Yeah. The conspiracy is that Brian Jones was killed.
Yeah.
And Genesis Peorage liked to talk about that one in particular. And shout out Genesis Peorage.
Yeah, Genesis Peorage. That's somebody who was at one point. Honestly, no. I am one of those people that separate the art from the artist in general as an artist because I want to, as Jack Kirby said, steal those hands.
Yeah.
But I have no problem saying that the artist is a terrible person, and that's why I generally steal their art. I'm not gonna lie.
It's kind of like saying shout out Gigi Allen.
Yeah, no, I would say Gigi Allen is profoundly and culturally important, and people should understand him. I wouldn't want to be in the room with him, and everything you want to say about him that's problematic. Yeah,
it's true. He wanted
you paid the ticket for that.
Yeah, Andy Dick's gonna grab your ass. That's gonna happen.
That's
gonna happen. You paid for it. Okay, so what do we know about what happened to the process? We know that it evolved.
It became, I think, the foundation faith of the new millennium, and then just the foundation faith, and then the foundation church. You can find a picture of them with the governor of Alabama in 78. laying hands on him in an impromptu faith healing.
We've actually used that at the top of one of these episodes of Tattered Map. That specific photo.
And that's when I say, oh, Alabama, 78. And then the Children of the Light operating out of Huntsville. Like, these are the most tenuous connections of my personal exploration. But I'd be willing to bet money at this point that that's where the connections are.
Okay, so we know that they moved into like animal charity work. I want to talk about the specific connection that Maury Terry made between the Process Church and an Air Force base in Minot.
Dude, I'm just barely into this Minot thing.
Yeah.
I have found recently
similar around every fucking Air Force base.
I've read a book, or I've recently just begun a book. I think it's called Mind Control USA. I'll have to look it up, but it talks about a program that was centered out of Minot in the late 70s.
Okay.
And you know, I don't even know if this source is worth anything, guys, but there's something going on in Minot, North Dakota, at that Air Force base.
Something weird. There's processians for sure back then.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. And keep in mind that, like, a lot of them operated on the like, they were going after motorcycle gangs. Just the same as the family was associated with the straight Satan, like, the Manson family was associated with the straight Satans and the Satan slaves. And potentially Manson may have been a member of, I think, the straight Satans.
Did a bunch of Vietnam Air Force go into bike gangs or something?
I haven't heard about that per se. I know
But the psychological profile fits is the only reason I say that.
Hello, Shadowhunter 3B.
Hey, welcome, Deb. What up?
Oh no, that's Shadowhunter Deb. I'm sorry, I'm blind. I didn't see the D.
I said that for forever with Shadow Chan, baby. Shadow Chan's the best. I don't know about Minot. The Ultimate Evil by Maury Terry.
I would just say, you're into looking into stuff. Start looking for those connections. Like, don't make me be the only one out here looking for them.
Yeah.
Because there's something going on. Like, no different than the Denver airport. There's something going on.
Look, every time I've researched something that has to do with a cult or a strange occult killing or a strange occult ritual site that someone has found and reported on, it's always a fucking stone's throw away from an Air Force base.
Yeah, that or an Army base.
Or an Army base.
Yeah, and once again, I think the Army, the Air Force, and the Navy...
overwhelmingly so fucking Air Force.
Well, I think that it's a big part because in the 50s, the Air Force was seen as the new Navy.
Oh.
Right? Because they were the Navy of the skies. Okay. Right? But also because anybody who knows anything about the military knows that they keep a healthy sense of competition between all the branches.
Yeah.
You got me?
Yeah.
Like, Marines eat crayons, and people in the Air Force work in air conditioning and chairs all day. Oh, like, everybody's got their thing that everybody else says about them, makes fun of them for. There's healthy competition there. But they all run their own separate intelligence stuff. And I assure you, they're spying on each other.
So military,
so that's part of it too. Is they spy on each other. They're trying to figure out each other's programs sometimes, if only because they stumbled across it and they're trying to figure out if it's domestic or foreign.
So military intelligence people are going to be drawn to this structure.
Yeah. No, immediately, and that's the thing. Once you
understand how it works,
you take a look at something at an organization, break it down by its structure, and notice that it happens to follow the exact same structure as something else. There's a reason to compare them at that point, even if the names are different.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Okay. Now, the Process Church, I want to, without expounding too far, it goes all the way into a character we mentioned a moment ago, Genesis Peorage, right?
Yeah, Genesis Peorage was a member of he was a member of a group that tried to reboot the process in the late 70s in England, a commune that called themselves the Temple of Psychic Youth. And eventually he ended up splitting off from that. Now, the Temple of Psychic Youth had, there was the Temple of Psychic Youth, and then there was the Outer Process Initiative, which was another form of what they called Toby. which he had another name for that he had algorithm that escapes me at the moment. But basically, that guy, another member of the House of Lords, when they called him a wrecker of civilization, that was his goal. Like he wasn't lying.
That's what
he's associated with some very, very, in hindsight, terrible people that I used to look up to.
Yeah. Oh, it's core time.
I need to get.
Oh, yeah. It's the car.
Yeah. No, you're good.
Oh, keys.
And someone's gonna have to let me back in.
I got you. Just give a shout to give a ring into that one.
Can you write down the code number for the back door?
Yeah.
Code?
Yeah,
Let myself in?
Yeah, there's a code for the back gate.
Sorry to interrupt the flow.
No, you're fine.
Not at all. Yeah, you're fine. It's Merc Radio.
Yeah, it's informal. Sorry, y'all.
Guess the number, gang.
Where were we? Sorry.
Right? The future of the Process Church and the rebooting of the Process Church
with
by
Genesis T. Orridge. That's right. Okay,
Yeah,
so
ran a commune, Temple of the Psychic Youth.
yeah, a Temple of Psychic Youth, and it was like a mail-in occult network. You've got to understand, a lot of people. It wasn't just this commune; like it was a mailing list
Okay.
that was associated with a lot of different people. And then as soon as bulletin boards happen in the 80s, they start running their own bulletin boards. Now, this level of technological sophistication, you'll notice, parallels the Finders, who also in the very late 70s, early 80s got into computers. So was Timothy Leary at this point. This is the point where he comes back and he's starting to declare himself a cyberpunk.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That happened.
Yeah, that absolutely. Like, people sort of memory hold it, but that happened. He was like, no, computers are the new LSD.
Yeah. Computers are the future. That's he was a
So
yeah, that's right.
Eventually, this transmutes from this mailing list, and then eventually they start up the process again. The first process web server went live the day the World Wide Web went live. It was hosted on about a $12,000 in 1990 money Next server that was in the closet of the bass player of the band Voivod.
What?
Blackie.
What?
Yeah, he was out of the band at that point, and apparently had gotten into graphic design.
Oh.
Yeah. And keep in mind, he's in Montreal, I believe Montreal, the occult fucking center of North America, basically.
Of North America at this point, yeah. Montreal is the scene where all the cults be coming out of.
Yeah, I mean, in many senses. Well,
All
keep in mind,
cults.
what did Captain Al Hubbard do? He became a
a
fucking Canadian citizen and started starting up his own sort of psychotherapy / acid cult.
Yeah.
Not really a cult because it was decentralized, but he was blowing minds in Canada starting in the 50s.
And man, when you hop into Montreal, like French Canada, France Canada's.
Well, yeah, no, French Canada is its own damn nation in a nation.
You get a lot of people who are drawn to that Hellfire Club individualism.
Yeah, here we get with Hellfire Club. Now Hellfire Clubs are the model.
Yeah.
In many sense. The process is just a form of a big-ass Hellfire Club.
Yeah.
That's very exclusive.
Yeah. You don't get in the Hellfire Club part of this thing unless you're maybe running one of these sects.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to be the tip top.
Maybe and at some point they have issues with them going rogue too, obviously, or maybe being co-opted by other intelligence projects.
It seems like L. Ron Hubbard, if you read it with a conspiracy mindset, his record, it's like, oh, dude was a government fucking. He was building this Dianetics thing, almost as a psyop, and then went rogue as fuck.
Absolutely.
And then went rogue as fuck.
Yeah, or we're saying he went rogue.
Yeah.
Because he's really working for us, but we can't be associated with that type.
Yeah.
Now, they also studied biker gangs real heavy, right? That's a decentralized shock army. You know?
Dude, yeah.
Now, here's something interesting about biker gangs. You're familiar with the concept of patching over,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So for those who don't, will you explain?
Oh, well, when one biker gang is dissolved and is absorbed by another biker gang, they have
Maybe by force.
sometimes by force. Yeah. So what happens is you have a patching over ceremony normally of a situation where they literally remove or give new leathers to or put a new patch on.
Over their old patch that they used to wear, over their old back patch on their leathers, their cut.
Yes. So a completely new visual ideology.
Well, not just that, a whole new identity. That cut
And you have
is
to
your identity. That's a sacred garment.
Yeah.
Right? It is your identity within that group.
Yeah.
So you're getting a new identity. I believe absolutely these splinter occult process groups could have been patched over by other groups operating maybe that we don't know about.
Gotcha.
Or just, that they patched over other process groups when they went rogue.
It's a scene that Charles Manson is oddly aware of, and when you hear him even talking to Shane Ballard in Citizen Shane, you hear him reference like that song I have about bikers.
Yeah.
Riding iron horses in the sky.
Yeah.
Is, I believe, the quote from Manson, and it's like, look, that
motorcycle power got so good that they had to give police officers bikes. Now, from a military standpoint, when you know there's a ton of post-war Nazis rolling around who are thinking about these things too, you've got to worry about a bunch of guys who are wearing swastikas and carrying machine guns on motorcycles, because they can come in and terrorize a town. That's not just lore. Like, that shit intermittently happened. Biker takeovers of towns happened,
Yeah. We've talked on the show in the past about a town where we used to live near, Harrison, which is a racist mecca. That's just an example of how an underground, not technically on the books legitimate organization can infiltrate and take over a town. That town is ran by the Klan.
Or look at the Phoenix story in 1954 when Eisenhower had to send in the National Guard to Phoenix, Alabama. Because mobsters had functionally taken over the town and killed the father of the man who'd later go on to be the governor of Alabama.
Yeah. Yes.
Like, they walked up to him while he was going to a car and literally put a gun in his mouth.
Yeah. True Crime Wifey brings up Aquino. Somebody I love bringing up on the show.
Because Aquino, I don't understand.
Michael Aquino was David Ferry.
See.
Look up pictures of both of them right now, True Crime Wifey. Tell me that Michael Aquino, who suddenly appears in 1968 already in the military, and I have never been able to find any backstory, just one shitty photograph of him prior to that nominally, in full dress. He looks exactly like David Ferry, who died in a plane crash, which they could have replaced any body in there with.
Yeah.
In 68, right before Aquino shows up on the scene.
Yep.
No, I think Aquino has been was a long time operator, and they sheep dipped him over into that and said, well, you were already involved in the Kennedy assassination. You're in as deep as it damn well gets.
You're getting.
And Aquino's the guy who brought Satanism to the army. Mm-hmm. He's the guy who founded the Temple of Set and stole LaVey's daughter.
Yeah, that's right. That's fucking right. He stole LaVey's daughter.
Yeah, Xena LaVey. Now Xena Shrek.
Fucking hey, dude. That's
no, I think she just goes by Xena now.
Taylor Swift?
Yeah, if not Taylor Swift, Taylor Swift's mom.
Tadoff Swiftler? So the process church seems to genuinely leak into everywhere. I had a viewer the other night, maybe it was last night, describing what seemed to be a satanic ritual site he found in what was I believe, either a missile silo.
Wait, say again? Sorry.
He found a satanic ritual site in either a missile silo or tunnels, but it read to me like what he found was a Maury Terry era fucking process church fucking spot.
Without having seen any imagery, I can't speak to it. But we know Aquino had the highest security access a person could have.
Yeah, that's true. So
there would be if we're looking for the Occam's razor in all this mess, that I would say probably links to Aquino, but fucking Aquino links back into this web too.
Yeah. It's weird that he...
Ferrie, I believe.
Yeah. But that's probably the same dude, because Aquino, other than him being on, Sarah Jessica Raphael, I don't know much about that business. It's beautiful outside today.
It's beautiful here, y'all.
Hell yes. Ooh. Ooh.
Oh, so you want to open up some lines?
We've got the Discord open. We're open right now, baby.
Oh, somebody get in here and talk to us.
Yeah, if anybody's got any questions, feel free to hop in the Discord and chit chat away. If not, I probably got a few more questions. I'm gonna grab them. If you got them, burn them.
But yeah, True Crime Wifey, Mind War is terrifying. I suggest everybody go find a PDF of that book by Michael Aquino and read through it, because that is exactly the man who set the current the current surreal world we have sort of in motion on the U.S. side of things.
Yeah.
Why do you think they always do German Shepherds? That's the breed, right?
Because of the Nazi associations is my bet.
Do you think that...
I think psychologically.
I was like, do you think it goes back beyond the Nazis? Is there something inherent about the aesthetic of that dog?
I think it's inherent to the aesthetic because the World War II was still fresh in the minds of everyone at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Well, they're still leaning towards those dogs. They just found like a pile of German Shepherd bones out in California a few years ago.
Yeah.
And it just always seems to be a motif, even though a lot of people are very disconnected to that.
Look, the Manson family was pretty well known to kill dogs.
Yeah.
And so were the Process. And I don't think either of those groups went anywhere. I think they just learned to keep their damn mouths shut.
Is it part of the like sadistic training to really reinforce that? Because everyone loves dogs. You get people who watch 100 horror films.
So you don't know about in the SS?
No, what?
In the SS, when you started training, they gave you a dog, and the last thing you had to do was strangle it.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, to kill your empathy.
Jesus.
So yeah, no, I'm certain that a whole lot of those dogs were raised lovingly by members who were then told they had to kill it. Now we get into the Order of Nine Angles.
That's a theme that you see in literature with people who have rubbed shoulders with processians.
Yeah.
That's a theme.
Well, I believe the Order of Nine Angles is associated in many ways and was designed to co-opt the worst of the Satanist groups and patch them over, and has now.
The unwritten book arc from Grant Morrison's run in Doom Patrol that shows up in the show, where there's the kid who they're raising because they're on him is developing holy words that at some point their cult will read and summon the D-Creator.
Right.
Right? And they're going to sacrifice the kid. They're going to raise him lovingly as their kid. And
Yeah.
They're going to sacrifice him. The D-Creator's
Well, because the mindset being that if you don't have it's not a sacrifice if it doesn't feel like one.
Exactly. Like they're raising it to know that it's...
So you're putting all of that in there to take it away and deal with that suffering to make you stronger in your faith of this thing.
So this is talking to God on the mountain, but instead of telling him, no, it's wrong to kill your son, thanks for the effort, though.
Yeah, you got to kill your son.
Yeah.
Or in this case, you've got to kill your dog. I would say if anyone, watch out looking up stuff on Order of the Nine Angles. You can find all their stuff. They've got it out there. They want you to read it. Be careful. But if you find an older book of theirs from the 70s called The Black Book of Satan, and go through their rules, one of them that they have is never love something so much you cannot bear to watch it die.
Yeah. Yeah. Oof.
And that really in and of itself, like, that's their whole fundamental basis.
Yeah. That's their fucking ideology, man. Before I go to the restroom, if you don't mind, run over to the viewers out there where this structure that the process is using comes from. You know what I mean? Like we can tie this all the way back to World War II. No?
I would say,
Before
at heart, you could look to the basic Jesuit structure and their understanding of the Holy Trinity.
Okay.
Like, I'm sorry, this is a quick one.
No, you're good.
But basic understanding of their Holy Trinity and how to utilize the logic inherent in believing in something that is something but is not.
Yeah.
I.e., Jesus Christ is God.
Yeah.
But Jesus Christ is not Jehovah. But Jehovah is God. That if you can accept that, you can accept a form of doublethink that's related to your very sort of spiritual survival.
Gotcha.
And in internalizing that very mental mechanism, they've learned how to extrapolate on it and manipulate people subtly until they double bind them emotionally so many ways and logically so many ways that they'll do what they say because it's the only out.
Yeah.
It's the only out that keeps you from feeling terrible and also still makes you feel spiritual. I've often felt that this is the main anybody who's a fan of Joseph Farrell is going to know what I'm talking about. If you've read his books. If not, I suggest you read his books. Because, yeah, he is an excellent author, an excellent researcher. I think he gets some things wrong. I don't think you know anybody in the conspiracy game who says, this guy got it right. If so, they haven't researched enough. But, one thing I'd like to go back to. Yeah, most people don't know what double bind means. Okay, let me explain this really quick. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. What we like to call a catch-22. You get positioned in a place where you lose no matter your move. And in that place, an abuser can give you a way out. And it might be something that you would never have done under normal circumstances. But because you're emotionally double bound and feel like the repercussions of your actions otherwise would be terrible, this is the least terrible move. Which is the repugnant philosophy. Like that we talk about in the Doolittle report. Yeah. It really is. They feel double bound, and so their only move in the face of impending nuclear apocalypse against an army that has no morals or ethics and is willing to do anything is to be just as moral or unethical as often as they have to.
Yeah.
And once you're in a little bit on that, and hey, I can discuss this all day. It's hard. It's a double bind. It's really hard to beat fascism.
Yeah.
It's really, really hard to beat fascism because fascism can move much faster than democracy. And a lot of times people are so self-centered. And I say this as one of the strongest individualists you will ever meet. But people are so self-centered, they don't understand that they're in a double bind and they may have no choice but to take the least worst option. I don't think that should be in the elections, but that's how they've manipulated us now into the elections.
So it would appear that a lot of these structures too are playing on the Anglosphere's need for our we have like a vestigial trait. We crave a pantheon.
Absolutely. On some level, well, I believe we crave a bunch of archetypes to demonstrate knowledge to us.
Yeah.
Because narrative structure is how we transmit information. We do it through stories. Everything's a story.
It's the easiest way for our frontal lobe to process that information.
Exactly.
Sort it into actual humanoid analogs.
That's why teachers who can teach through stories have much better recall than people who just go out there and give you equations. Yeah. Like if you can, a math teacher who can tie equations to real world examples is a useful person. Yeah. A math teacher who can't is reading a book.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, True Crime Wifey, what's wrong with the chat and the replay? Did somebody say something crazy? I don't think so. It'd be deleted if so. I mean, they know we talk about this kind of shit. This ain't the first Conspiracy Thursday.
Oh yeah. No, you said you'd read that particular dictator's memoirs in college, and you were like, no, they didn't start like they ended up. Absolutely, look up the influence of Otto Strasser. Like they started off. I'm not going to say good. They were racists the whole time. Oh. But they started off nominally with an idea that was based on helping people in their country and then got co-opted by somebody even worse.
Oh. Let me see here if I can actually do that on air. I've been fucking experimenting with the new setup. You know what I'm saying, man? Trying to see if I can't... Okay, why won't you let me... You make me do it this way every time.
It's all mad about it.
It makes me do it this way every time.
Yeah, that's an issue too. True Crime Wifey, is that if you're going to discuss some of these subjects, you've got to get verbally creative, or you just have to deal with the fact that they don't want you talking about some of these subjects, whether it's related to this topic at hand or not.
Yep.
I'm not mad about a bunch of statues, but don't let me not talk about history.
Yeah. What up, little rabbit?
Because I mean, if you can't discuss the bad people, how do you discuss keeping this type line of thought from occurring again?
What do? Yeah, no, you do need to express that evil is evil. If you don't express that evil is evil, it's going to cause the curious nature of humanity to explore it further. It's the same thing with it's like being a parent, man. Like you can't look. My father used to use the words all the time. Like I'm not trying to condone or condemn. I'm just letting you know what I know about something.
Right.
Like I'm not telling you because my father, he's in a position where he's like, I know where I fucked up.
Yeah. I know that I'm not a moral authority here.
Yeah, like and you have no. I understand you're giving because you give him that look like the fuck this dude about to say to me about fucking moral behavior.
Right.
And then it turns out that let's see. There we go. Boom.
There we go. We fixed the replay. But what was that?
The more those groups are in the dark, the worse the ideation tends to turn. It
100%.
gets darker the longer it's separated from everyone else.
Okay, here's why. It's that we have a cultural phenomenon that's universal pretty much, called the taboo. And if things are taboo, then for some people who like to search out truth and who have been lied to about things, they're going to explore that taboo.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. It will happen. You tell people that they're not allowed to look into people who dress in Hugo Boss.
That's true.
The next thing you know, they're going to be able to tell you everything about them and maybe have internalized their ideology because they said, oh, they hid it from me. It must be true.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, let's just talk about it, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you can't talk about it because it so overwhelms you, YouTube's filled with channels.
That's like I do think they're
Go watch a cat video if that's the case.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, go watch a cat video,
Exactly.
And I'm not even trying to be an asshole. Like, if it causes you mental trauma, I believe that can be legitimate, 100%. And I'm not here to tell you that it doesn't cause you trauma. I'm telling you probably don't want to be here.
Yeah.
It's not that you're not welcome. It's that you're not going to like the content.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I have no clue what Baby Little Rabbit's talking about. But welcome, friend.
I'm sorry I can't parse that, baby little rabbit.
Yeah, but what up?
But if you'll rephrase it, I'll give it another whirl.
Oh, I can do impressions. Yeah.
No, true crime wifey, I'm pretty serious about constitutional rights, too. I'm also a person that doesn't believe rights actually exist. Like, you can't hold a right in your hand.
No.
It's something we've all agreed on. And our methodology of securing them is through the Constitution. And I'm against radically changing, especially the first 10 amendments. Like the ones after 10, I don't know, 13th Amendment? The one that says you're not allowed to be a slave, let's keep that one.
Yes.
Like, let's call it 10 plus 1 on that.
It used some tweaking because it left room to enslave people in the prison system.
Yeah,
that one still needs work.
Let's strike the last bit of that like we struck the whole 18th Amendment.
Yeah.
That says that you can enslave people for profit in jail.
Yeah. Where that's totally fucking okay in America. The privatized prison industry is fucking massive.
Oh yeah, no. The private prison industry is a nightmare fascist system to me. Like literally textbook definition fascist.
Huge and a problem.
Every day it gets worse. Like taking away face-to-face contact with your family members for non-violent crimes. Instead, they want you to use their screen system.
Yeah.
Even though the people show up physically to see you, it's like they're trying to make sure you don't have any humanity left when you get out.
No, absolutely. Well, they want to make sure that they create a population of recidivists that keep coming back so they can keep getting paid.
They love
like some of those jails have contracts that say they have to be kept at 90% full.
Yeah, enslave you into a lifestyle of habitual offense.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen that happen to people I love. You know what I mean? Where it's like they literally have to. The only means they have is gaming the system.
Hey, true crime wifey, I'll tell you something that I bet Jameson would agree with. There's only one dictionary in America, and that's Black's Legal Dictionary.
That's for your hard semantics arguers out there. I'm over here on Webster's. Boy, we just added yeet. We just added yeet.
No, and I'll tell you, I would bet that my concept of what we should do for prison would not appeal to a lot of our viewers. I'm not a punishment guy. Yeah. I don't see punishment really being effective. I see rehabilitation being effective, and if a person cannot be rehabilitated, then they should probably be kept in segregation from the general population in humane conditions, while we scientifically try to understand what motivates them to be that way.
Yeah. Word.
Because
observation over enslavement for sure.
Oh yeah, nobody should be required to do work or be given work as an option so they don't go crazy in a rape cage.
Yeah, that's a very good way to describe our state prison situations.
Yeah, it doesn't keep it like making it bad. Long sentences, those don't keep people out.
Yeah.
The type of person that you're worried about is the type of person who's decided they're going to go to jail and die early. Yeah. They don't care.
Yeah.
They don't care. It's no different to me than trying to outlaw guns. Like, they're going to care.
Yeah.
They're not going to care. They're at best, they're going to be so crafty that if they don't make one, they pay somebody who knows how to make one, who will also be willing to do so.
Yeah. Yeah. I love this. Oh wait, what year? True Crime Wifey asked.
What year for what, True Crime Wifey?
That Black's Legal Dictionary?
I would say the most current Black's Legal Dictionary is the only one that matters, and the only reason it matters is because that's the one you'll be operating off of if you go to court.
That's who can fuck your money. That's the dictionary you need to read if you want to know how they're going the words they're going to use when they're fucking your money.
People can try and redefine words in what feels to me a very Orwellian sense constantly, and I just don't care. They can choose to misunderstand me, or they can choose to misunderstand the world, because that's all they're really doing by attempting to redefine words.
There's a certain level of almost grudgeful, like sometimes our show I love it when we get to we haven't black and white fucking broken any TOS, but I know there was physically one YouTube person who was like, damn it. Damn it, I'd get you. I'm limited in the ads. And then it's like, nah. Request an appeal. And they're like, fuck.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no, I mean, like, I do my best not to break any terms of service as best I understand them.
Well, no, it's more about expressing an opinion in a rational way. I like it when people, again, like you and Jameson, who have maybe a difference in opinion, but also have the right to express. People don't have that. You know what I mean?
And this is why I get alteration does become an emotion. People's ability to meaningfully communicate when people are trying to language police, when they understood what was meant. Like, you can say that language is somehow inherently abusive. Almost certainly, if the person's not being when they're using that sense. These take a long time to meet each person.
Pro-death penalty, but kind of anti-biased prison institution that we have.
I hear my problem with the death penalty is that 345 cases have been exonerated through DNA, and that tells me that we have an Oh, okay, hold on. Are we back yet, True Crime Wifey?
Or is it just
Struggling on my screen.
yeah?
Oh no.
Ooh, buddy. I bet you it stays golden, though, in the replay. For giving me notifications about this person's channel. I'm trying to check my own shit. Ooh, it is on the struggle. Yeah.
Ah, that's a
Robot. when you said the degradation of language, that's all I could think was like I don't know. I'm somebody who kind of views language as one of the best paintbrushes we have as artists, and sometimes it changes, and it's a fluid. Talk about language.
Certainly.
Yeah.
There's always going to be secondary meaning.
Subtle vernaculars
Right.
in languages that make them truly unique and kind of cool.
But I would say, okay, going back to, I'm gonna go for it. My main issue with the death penalty being that, like I said, I think it's 345 cases exonerated, is that it's a, when you're talking about people's lives, as soon as I start talking, and it's gone. That it's that manner, I don't want to err on the side of ever having a method where we take the life of an innocent person. Like I would rather morally and ethically foot the tax bill to have them locked up forever. Like if that's what we've decided, you know, just fine. It's perfectly. Like, you're going to have to deal with a court case and you might go to jail. But from like I said, morally, ethically, I've got no problem with that. Save your life.
It's happening on Twitch too. It might be the internet lagging.
But yeah, that's different. Self-defense in the moment is this happened and we're going to believe that it's
the fact that there's just the base variable of there's wrongful wrongful penalties. We've killed people that were fucking innocent a lot,
right.
And well, even if it's in my opinion, still enough.
They had that evidence innocence enough that they would, that in our current system and our faith in DNA would have said, all right, well, that's the case.
Yeah. People kept coming into the chat when we were covering the Brian Laundrie and Gabby Petito stuff, and Jameson was backing me up on this, where people were like, well, are they going to run her for DNA and see if he hit her together?
Yeah, how
were
that?
Nothing.
I understand it, like, in terms of witness terror, and we make up our mind based on circumstantial evidence confirmed as best we can by witness testimony.
Yeah. But I would have to see info on each case. See what we're doing, True Crime Wifey, what I'm trying to do, we're going to get to Murdaugh. We're going to work our way kind of through the timeline up to the 90s. And we're going to then kind of go back and I'm going to get into like the shit that goes back to the 1900s. Old corruption, shit like that, for Conspiracy Thursdays. But we gonna get there. We're going to at some point be caught up to current events, and then we're going to talk about Murdaugh at some point.
Well, when you talk about secret societies and organizations that have roots long-term in America, a whole lot of them go back to, as they said in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, a certain secret society.
A certain... Yeah.
That was around in the late 1860s.
Yeah.
The one Nathan Bedford Forrest was a member of.
And
Albert Pike.
That's true. That's some shitty fucking racist motherfuckers, man.
Go to Fort Smith, Arkansas sometime. Look around. You're going to find so much Albert Pike inspired imagery.
Yeah. You cannot use a case-by-case analysis. Though when setting public policy.
And that's my point. You really can't use a case-by-case analysis for public policy. That's why I say, in general, I just don't like it. I don't care if I was there. I support it this strongly.
Yeah.
You got me? Because not just of my pain and suffering, but because of everyone in the future's potential pain and suffering.
Yeah. There's
like just like imagine what's on your head when DNA functionally exonerates somebody you were thrilled to see get the chair or whatever, or the lethal injection, because you wholeheartedly believed that that would give you emotion. And we're red herring the whole time, and now innocent people are.
It's more than fine. You have to be okay with executing innocent people if you support the policy. Personal views are different. Yeah.
Yeah. Once again, like I'm a firm believer in like I said, self-defense. Like if somebody's doing something death penalty inducing, and you have the means, I suggest that you shoot to stop. And if they happen to die, that's on them.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not no lawyer. Yeah. We do come from a good place.
Yeah.
Morally. You know.
Well, people want the death penalty because the sense of vengeance gives us a sense of equality and closure.
Yeah.
But now that we know that we haven't actually meted it out effectively, you know.
True crime wifey, what'd you just say, girl? That's some juice. Write that down. You try to get me talk about murder and you got juice like that? Man,
I'll tell you
bet
what,
you're fucking onto something.
I wouldn't be surprised if they have been. Totally wouldn't be surprised if they had been. In the same way that like 23andMe does.
Yeah.
I think you're absolutely onto something there, True Crime Ivy. No, they want a full database like Argentina just had and got hacked.
The Argentinians, all of them lost their personal data.
Every one of them.
Every
The centralized
Argentinian.
government database of all of it, including their economic information, got hacked and every damn bit was stolen.
Yep.
45 million people. Every person who has a file, which is everyone in Argentina.
You think there's going to be some Nazi stuff come up? Some ties show up? That people weren't necessarily expecting?
It's Argentina.
Yeah, currently in Argentina.
Like, if that ends up in a Panama Papers type situation, maybe.
Yeah.
True crime wifey. Serial killers and child murderers are not good people. Exactly. And we want a minimum of them. And killing them versus trying to understand, and I don't mean in a hippy-dippy way, I mean in a scientific what's going on in your brain way, is the only way that I know of that we're going to find a way to mitigate these types of behaviors expressing in human beings.
Yeah, and also statistically, Jameson makes a point: the death penalty being active in a state does not deter crime in any way. It does not stop people from committing crime. That's why I'm an anti-prohibition mindset kind of person. Like, once someone wants something, if you want something bad enough, you're gonna go fucking get it.
Well, it's not just that; it's the people who have the least respect for rules that you are worried about that none of these policies ever have an effect on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like your goal seems to be that you're gonna take everything away and normalize it for the average person, and they're gonna somehow socially pressure a criminal into not.
Yeah. Yeah. Fucking, it's a bunk ass system. Man, okay. Do you think I got a feeling there's some processed church people in. There's got to be prison gang offshoots.
Oh yeah, no. Well, one of the guys that Maury Terry, or one of the guys that's in that they have interviewed, a voice clip in Sons of Sam, who's in jail. The dude who's in jail.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would be very surprised if he didn't, because you will often hear about Satanists being recruited while in jail by other Satanists.
While in jail.
And when I say this, I'm talking about. Look, you can go hop on Google and find up killings associated with people who truly believed in Satan for whatever reason. And 99% of them certainly appear to me to just be crazy people who've gotten a hold of this ideology that justifies their sadism and hatred.
Yeah, when you have
and I'm talking theistic Satan. I'm not talking the Church of Satan or the Temple of Satan. I've got my issues with both of them. and they are more to do with being associated with things like white power.
Yeah.
But no, I'm talking about actual theistic people, a very relatively small group of people who believe in an actual devil and that they can gain favor from it.
Yeah. That's,
and not necessarily the Christian devil, it's just a metaphor.
Yeah. There's a...
Order of Nine Angles immediately comes to mind.
Yeah.
And Adam Voppen by extension.
Some of the stories I've heard from a couple different YouTubers whose name I don't remember, just meet the 09ers when they meet up in the wild. And some of the shit that dude was talking about has happened just at suburban homes.
Yeah.
Is like fucking wild. Fucking wild. Some people be turning up in the suburbs in a way I didn't know people turned up.
That's an example. What they started doing once they started putting their stuff online was an example of how all the white supremacists figured out that they could put out lone wolf ideology. It's the same thing 10 years later. Like that motherfucker who created Stormfront.
Yes.
Who started doing that in the 80s. Like he, in jail, took classes on things like web design, and immediately upon getting out of jail started Stormfront.
Yeah. Yeah.
So your tax dollars paid to design that website.
Ooh,
because we don't focus on literal rehabilitation.
Yeah.
We act like college credits somehow amount to that.
Yeah. Ooh. Let's see here. Oh, well, we're rounding the show down, gang. Anybody out there? Ooh. Have any questions or anything we want to bring up to special guests or just on the show? Because we can get down. We can get down, y'all. We still got 20 minutes left, yo.
Oh, yeah.
And we're open. There's been a few conspiracies I follow that I consider particularly kooky, but have so much fucking evidence behind them. Like,
you want me to spitball one real quick?
Oh yeah,
it's related to this DNA thing.
Oh yes, go.
Okay, true crime wifey. I don't know if you've ever heard of the concept of retroactive surveillance, but under the Bush administration, functionally they decided that it's perfectly legal to record everything that would violate your rights as long as they never look at it. And only look at it after they get a search warrant.
Yeah.
Yeah, she knows about it, right?
Yeah.
Well, how else could you apply this legally?
Yeah.
Could you apply it to a big DNA database they're not supposed to have but are allowed to use suddenly in case of an extreme search situation?
Yeah. Ooh.
You know, one that the government itself doesn't have access to, but a bunch of contractors do.
See, and that's why I'm against piss testing people for employment.
Oh, same.
Like, that's...
Not gonna lie, that's why I haven't done Ancestry or any of those services.
Oh, yeah, no, I know my heritage because my mom got a DNA test in the late 90s while trying to prove, like, who she, like, figure out her adoption mother. And so I only know half of mine based on hers. Like, I'm not going to submit mine. I'm well enough aware of my background between that and being able to look at online at genealogy records.
Oh no, I was too curious. Plus, I've left fluids everywhere. I did Ancestry.com. I've left fluids everywhere, dude. There's no, I mean, if they want it, they've already got it on me.
Oh, well, I mean, there's a difference, like I said, there's a difference between have they already got it and can they legally say they have it.
Yeah.
Can they use it against me in court?
Yeah.
And the only reason I say that is because I believe that in national security cases, they will often fabricate court cases against people.
Yeah. I had a child born in a hospital. I've also done quirky things like piss blood all over a hospital room. So, like, they've got it. They want it. They got it.
Oh, Jameson, I as I understand it, they've solved cold cases now on extrapolations from 23andMe.
Yeah, they have. Yeah, they have. Well,
right? Like
the Golden State Killer.
Yeah, they've got the back-end technology to do all of that. Can they legally apply what they've collected yet?
Yeah. Yeah,
so can they just keep collecting on whoever until that person steps over one of those 10 federal felonies a day that they document and decide they want to come after you?
Yeah. I'm ready for some brave co-hosts to step up and raise their hand because I do want to do a whole Joseph D'Angelo stream. the Golden State Killer.
Oh, yeah. Got it. Sorry.
Michelle McNamara was fucking crucial in busting that case, man.
Sorry, you said Golden State Killer, but I was just seeing BTK.
Earlier we were trying to remember a particular actor's name, and all I could see in my head was Worf from The Next Generation.
BTK seems like the type of guy that flips the chessboard.
Yeah, and pouts.
Yeah.
Oh, he's such a bitch.
And pouts and writes bad poetry like Israel Keys.
It's also, Jameson says it's also bigger than that. States like New York allow police departments to collect DNA upon arrest. Absolutely. I believe in Germany, if you don't want to spit in the cup, they're allowed to legally break your nose and take blood.
Yep. Yeah. That's fucking. Why couldn't that? They're like, we can do it this way or this way. I'm like,
yeah, I was like, no.
I'm done. Yeah, there you go. You can have a little bit of that.
You jackbooted thug.
Yeah. Don't you fucking use this to spit bag me.
Yeah.
Once I spit in this cup, don't be like, all right, spit bag him. You guys ever joke with cops? Probably not. A lot of people get.
Yeah, I need to look into this Gary Francis Post thing. Mm-hmm. But if it turns out that he's the Zodiac, you want me to just spitball some crazy?
Yes.
I think that the Zodiac Killer, like a lot of things that happened in the 70s and 80s, were part of what's called a strategy of tension that was being run by a rogue factions of these intelligence agencies' operations with cults.
Damn.
Like, that's what I think was happening. I think that they were like, screw this, we're going to amp up the security state because of the fucking Russians.
Fucking.
And we're going to make everybody feel crazy and threatened so they'll accept all of these new security rules, which is what was going on in Italy at the same time.
Yeah.
So I think that, suddenly they crack the biggest case of the century in an era where they've probably had the AI to do it for fucking 20 years.
Yeah.
In 2018. Or right now, when the dude died in 2018, so nobody can interview him and he have anything to say.
That actually makes sense if he was a patsy for a situation like that.
Yeah, Jameson says the FBI has the tech to hack into your iPhone. Yeah, Apple crumpled on that like 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, they totally do. Yeah, well, I've talked about this on the stream before. Like, cops have talked to me about how they don't, like, when they wire somebody, it's not wiring somebody. They're not taping something to you anymore. They just fucking activate your personal phone's microphone.
Yeah.
And they can hear the whole fucking room through your pocket.
Yeah, look, guys, you got an iPhone. Records have been recorded on nothing but an iPhone now. Yeah. It's got what would be a studio quality microphone circa 2006.
Yeah, link in description. Sorry. But yeah, straight up. Like, you can, they got you. Bella, I love the people. We don't have any in the chat right now, but we'll get the occasional new zealous person pop up in the chat. It's like, this or that is a tracker.
Oh, yeah. It's like your phone's a tracker.
You already bought your tracker, dude. You paid money for that shit.
I'll tell you when you need to start worrying about trackers, right? Yeah. You need to start worrying about trackers when they stop selling us new phones.
Yeah. I love it.
Okay, so when the average person can no longer afford a new phone, because, a tracker chip might be cheap.
Yeah. I've had some hateful people send some DMs who had come on the show, and they've been like, ba 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 ba. It's a tracker. And I'm like, he said from his tracker, and then I get like a hateful Instagram that's like, you said my shit, fuck you. And it's like, dude, I can't help that you
got location services on, buddy?
I can't help you didn't think about it. I can't help you didn't apply it.
If you look back, you'll be able to find from, whenever Xbox first put out their first motion controller.
Yeah.
Right? That shortly after that, a team of kids at MIT figured out how to hack a Wi-Fi router so that it could act as a motion controller. Consider the implications of that. If suddenly just having a Wi-Fi router can track your movements and every phone's got a hotspot, what level of triangulation could be achieved?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're tracked. Is there Wi-Fi near you? You're tracked.
Yeah.
Are they looking at you? Probably not.
Yeah. That man, Jameson, yeah. It's fucking... it is a fucking tough one. It's like that policing seems like it'd be weird.
Oh, yeah. No, Jameson, you are absolutely right on that. Like, you can stop this midstream based on some words, or if I put the wrong, placard up.
Yeah.
But you can't deal with the most endemic problem with the internet.
Yeah. You want to see if they pull us for butt stuff?
Got our notes here.
Butt stuff. Anyway. Yeah, sorry.
That's definitely got to be the fucking...
That's what is this? We got notes. I've been taking notes.
No, I think you're absolutely right, Jameson. And I think that the people involved in that, who are involved in what I tend to call all the worst sides of criminal enterprise, where your product is people.
Yeah.
That they've been involved with organized crime since Lucky Luciano, and have let them run such a wide enough hand. And not only that, they do it so that they can utilize those networks to get back into wherever they're grabbing people from.
Yes.
Like all those poor Asian girls that show up at massage parlors.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, their nominal reasoning is no different than what they said when they gave a bunch of guns to the cartels and said, we're going to use them to track the roots back. Their justification on some level to this is we need to have access to these networks so we can take them down. Oddly enough, they never take them down. Just like how they killed the French Connection, and immediately upon doing so, got rid of all the drug agencies in the U.S., folded them into the DEA, and by the time the dust settled, the Mexican Connection is not only set up, it is by their own words untouchable, and it never stopped.
Damn. That the Mexican cartels get.
Yeah, and why has Mexico gone so bad? Because bad neighbors make excellent fences.
Ah, shit. Yeah. Stop you from.
Do you want to walk through fucking North Mexico?
Yeah, no, not at all.
Like, you have to know where to be to not have your head cut off in a lot of places.
Yeah, not in its current state.
Yeah.
Not in anywhere you're going to be able to.
Meanwhile, I hear Southern Mexico's amazing.
Yeah,
like in comparison,
fucking great. Yeah.
See you later, True Crime Wifey.
Hey, you have a good one, True Crime Wifey. We actually,
I think we're about out
too. Yeah, we've learned a lot about the Process Church today. If anybody is a new viewer, you're catching this in post, and you have any questions about the Process Church, you can hop on our Discord, link in description, and come ask us some questions about the Process Church.
Thanks, Rock. We appreciate it, man. I'm glad people just want to listen to me talk about this crazy shit.
Yeah, dang straight. Hey, I love you, Rock. That's we have our ride or dies are the best ride or dies on the planet.
Yeah.
Shit. Coolest Murphys on planet Earth, dude. Anyway, I love you all. I'm turning this. Let's hope this. What was it? Chiptune?
Yeah. It's something probably too chipper.
We got some chiptune rolling.
That's the vibe we're going out on.
We know things. We took notes. Like, share, and subscribe, fools.
Funnily enough, the second you said button stuff, my internet dropped for a second. It got quiet for a second, I'm like, wait, no, really? And then you came back, of course, but...
Oh, and actually, thank you as always to Justin. We're actually rolling out right now. It's probably why I hear the music jam, and fucking thank you for being with me, brother. I'm gonna hop out of Discord.
Have a good day.
Damn straight, you too, my man. Don't work too hard, brother.
party. That was a good time.